All right, welcome back to the Attack the Rack YouTube channel. This is your favorite podcast, probably climbing the charts, number one podcast probably on the planet. We are back every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. The Attack the Rack podcast with myself and Big Mo. So hey, we've got a great interview coming up in this as part of this podcast with Corey Wolters, by the way. He's going to be talking a little bit of fantasy football stuff, and we're kind of promoting the series we're doing with him, fantasy football preview. So we're going to be having, and actually today we released the running backs, or I'm sorry, the quarterbacks. So we did a quarterback preview. That's out today. That's out right now. You can find it on the channel. And then Sunday we'll be releasing the running backs segment, and then next Friday wide receivers, next Sunday tight ends. Nice. And as a part of that, we got a little interview with him here coming up on the program today. And then just other reminders, we got Monday Morning Live. I go live Monday mornings, 7 a.m. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we've got our daily lineup show with myself, Big Mo, and Trent. And coming up, it's football season coming up this fall. Every Sunday morning, we'll have our NFL Pick Show with myself, Peter Hunsberger, and Chad Zagar. Big Mo, how you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah?
It's the weekend, baby. It's the weekend.
It is. And this is probably your last weekend before you start that side hustle of teaching, huh?
It is. The work begins Monday.
All right. Well, make sure you rest up this weekend and enjoy it.
We will try.
Hey, so yesterday we were recording our daily show during the USA men's basketball game against Serbia. We probably should have waited until after the game to record, because kind of felt like, well, they already beat Serbia once. They've been beating everybody. Probably just not going to be that big of a deal. And whoa, we were keeping tabs on it while we were recording. I think at one point Trent was watching the game. They were down 15 in the first half, and then still down maybe 11 or so at half.
Yes. Yeah. Wait, 11. I think it might even been, 11 at half.
Ish.
And then,
yeah.
Still and down then, going into the fourth.
Yeah. Yep. And then we got done recording about halftime, and then watched the rest of the game. And I just kind of felt like, all right, now they're going to take over. Now they're going to take over. And we're talking, what, 3 minutes left in the game, and they're still down?
Yeah. I mean, not by much. First, I think they had played Serbia twice.
Well, they played them in an exhibition game, and then they played their first game of the Olympics.
Yes. And neither of those two were very. I mean, they were close maybe for a little bit, but nothing.
Yeah.
But I think obviously that shows you, one, I think just the how much everything turns up a notch when you start playing for a medal.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's shout out to Serbia. They played they played an amazing 3 quarters.
Yeah.
Made shots for 3 quarters. Made it pretty tough on everybody besides Steph Curry for 3 quarters. And in the fourth quarter, the the USA team was like, "Hey, this is our time," and they rose to the occasion. I think every single one of them who played in that fourth quarter made a play that was huge. So
yeah. And then Steph Curry led with 36 or something like that? Did he end up tying or breaking Durant's single game record, or no?
I don't think he broke that. No. I think he ended up with just over 30, right? 34 maybe.
Was that something like that, in mid 30 range? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which is crazy, because the game before he didn't really do much at all.
No. And he had that huge in and out 3 in the fourth that just broke the back of the Serbian team. And again, they credit their defense, the USA's defense. Serbia just could not find enough buckets in the fourth quarter, and that's a credit to I'm sure. I mean, I can't imagine those guys turning up the notch and
Right.
just getting after you 94 feet,
Yeah.
making everything tough. It was actually an exciting game to watch.
It was some good, really good basketball, really
Yeah,
competitive there in the end, and a lot of fun. And then U.S. women, they won today, so now they now advance to
gold medal game,
medal
right?
game. Yes. Who do you know who they're playing in the gold medal game?
I did not. I watched the first half of that game, and it was kind of
Either
out of
France or
control.
Belgium, right?
Yeah, I don't know who won it. So again, they kind of
Yeah.
cruised to a victory. Wilson was, is it Asia?
Yeah.
Wilson was extremely tough again, and I know they were. It was kind of out of reach by halftime. So
Yeah.
shout out to the USA women's, played well, just how they should. I mean, like you said, that's been how many games in a row?
Now it's got to be, I think, 60 now. Crazy.
Pretty good streak. I think the women are Sunday.
The men playing the gold medal game. They're playing France, right?
Yeah, the men are playing France. Yes,
Obviously, they got Wemby.
they've got a bunch of NBA guys.
Yeah.
Wemby, Gobert.
So,
Should be a good game. But yeah, should be another good game. Hopefully.
and then the women's gold medal game is Sunday morning at 9:30 Eastern time, our time.
Gotcha.
But anyway,
Perfect time to watch some basketball.
yeah, with a little brunch. Um, Big Mo, how about the Chicago White Sox? 21
Hey,
game, 21 game losing streak. Tying the AL record. Game 22, they go out and win. So they don't break the record, they tie the record.
nice to share a record with somebody.
Yeah. And then after getting the win and ending the streak, bye-bye manager Pedro Griffol. He gets fired.
So I'm not sure. Again, I don't follow enough baseball to probably warrant a big opinion, but obviously, you lose that many games. They're 3/4 of the way through the season.
Yeah, more than that. Yeah.
Yeah, probably just someone saying, "Hey, let's just make a change." You give someone the interim role,
Yeah.
and you kind of go from there. And then maybe they finish hot, maybe they compete, maybe they see a little life, and that
Yeah.
guy gets a job next year. But I mean, most likely they're going out and finding somebody else. But crazy world, because I'm not sure. Does that really make a difference firing that guy?
No, that's the thing. I wonder how much in baseball does a manager really, you know, really make a difference. I mean, obviously, if you can motivate your guys and get them ready to go, but like that's not there's not a ton of X's and O's. Yeah, there's some big decisions you got to make as far as going to your bullpen, when you go to your bullpen, you know, maybe you want to bunt, maybe you want to hit and run. But I mean, it's not a ton compared to like football and basketball. Um, in fact, I remember years ago, the great ESPN baseball analyst Tim Kirchin, I remember him saying something about he thought a manager really only had an influence one way or the other in maybe like 5 games all season long out of 162.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I think the thing that people don't get to see is maybe, in good or bad, because we have no idea because you don't get to see it, is what the clubhouse is like,
Yeah.
what's the feeling, what's the relationships, what's the growth set mentality, what are the things going on behind the scenes, and sometimes that can be good, but sometimes you just need a change.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that stuff is definitely important, right? You gotta, if your team's gonna be successful and win games, obviously there's got to be a good culture in the locker room. People got to be happy, upbeat, focused, you know. So a manager definitely can influence that. But speaking of the 21 game loss streak, Big Mo, that'll bring us to our favorite three of the week. Favorite three streaks. Big Mo, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
Well, I'll go first, only for the fact that I did. This producer Dale brought this up, and
Yeah.
so I had to search a little bit, and I was sticking with sports,
Okay.
just because I think that's easier. Um, so I'll go first. I think the one that sticks out in my lifetime is Cal Ripken's streak of playing games played.
Yeah, I had that on my list. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So I think that's just something I can remember watching his last game, and when he didn't start, you watch that game
Yeah.
because it's like, holy cow, this is just
Yeah.
it's amazing, really. And in
Right.
today's age of load management, that you know, no one's ever going to get close to that.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his well, he broke Lou Gehrig's record of 2,130 consecutive games played. I think that was in late was that late '94. So the record was held by Lou Gehrig for 56 years at 2,130 games played in a row. And then Cal Ripken broke that. And then Cal Ripken went on to play another 500 in a row. So the record ended with him at 2632, 2,632 games in a row. And I think
Right.
that ended late 1998. So I mean, another 501 or 502 more games yet, even after he broke Lou Gehrig's
Yeah.
streak.
How many years does that put together, kind of?
Well, let's see, 2632
Obviously, just an astonishing feat because
over 16 seasons.
yeah, yeah,
That's crazy. Unbelievable. 16 seasons without taking a day off. I mean, that's crazy. Even just to have a day off. But then he probably gets to a certain point where he's like, "Holy cow, I might be able to break this record." So now there's no way he's taking a day off. But
yeah. But then
no,
to play 500 more and just be like, hey,
yeah,
I'm gonna play 4 more
that's
seasons,
true.
3.5 more seasons, just
Right?
just to add a few more games to it.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
big deal. No big
yeah.
deal.
No, for sure. So that was a good one. I did have that one on my list too. I'm gonna go with, and you maybe had this one on your list. So I might have stolen from you here. Detroit Pistons. 5 games in a row, a 5-game defensive streak, holding their opponents under 70 points. You remember that?
No, I mean, I remember. Now that you say that and bring it up, I remember there was a huge. Well, how many points was it under?
Under 70. That's
70. Yeah,
incredible. 5 games in a row.
which is unheard of, obviously, especially at that point because teams were scoring,
Yeah.
still probably over 100 a game.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it just shows the defensive mentality that that group had.
Yeah, that was in the 03-04 season, the year they went on to win the championship too. So anyway, that's my first of my favorite 3.
That's pretty good. That's pretty
Yeah.
good there. I'm gonna stick again. I briefly kind of perused some ideas, so I don't think I had a lot of ones that stick out to me directly. Another one I remember watching, and again, I guess baseball back in the day was maybe something I paid a little more attention to because I was into the baseball cards and this
Yeah.
and that. But was Oral Hershiser's
Oh, that's right.
like 59 like innings scoreless or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
And I just kind of remember I was Oral Hershiser, just that name, and again being kind of glued and just kind of being, oh, this guy is just unbelievable. Like he's just on a hot streak.
Well, it's just one of those romantic things about baseball. It's such a stat heavy sport.
And I was into the stat stuff back
Yeah,
then, 25, 30 years ago. And
yeah,
probably those are, again, just another baseball one. Even though I'm not a huge fan,
yeah,
stat wise, it was just outstanding that someone could do that and go on such a streak. So,
yeah. No, that was a good one too. My next one comes from a movie. One of the probably the best comedies ever made, Old School. There's a scene in there where Will Ferrell has one too many brewskis and decides he's going to go streaking. And so he goes streaking from or down like the main street of their town they live in.
sure
That was
does.
a very one of the more funny scenes in one of the most funny movies of all time. So my second streak is Will Ferrell going streaking in the movie Old School.
Wow. 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 You really pulled that one out of the hat.
Can you believe that movie is over 20 years old already?
Oh, no.
Jeez.
Goodness gracious. Sounds awful.
Yeah.
All right, last one. I'm gonna make one a little personal.
Okay.
Yeah, and the for my coaching days
Yeah,
down in Fenville,
sure.
playing I believe I believe it was a tournament game. Um, Again, can't quite recall exactly, but we were playing at Hartford
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
against was it against Lawrence?
yeah. I think it was.
Yes.
It was a
And it was
district game.
back. I mean, we were down all game long, but it was fourth quarter, back to back to back threes for Reed Sexton.
Okay, sure. I would assume.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
So
not
you're
a big
saying
set
he went 4 possessions in a row with hitting a three or three
three. I think
possessions
three.
in a row?
Three
Wow.
possessions. Three possessions, and I think one of them, two of them were set plays that we ran within the offense. And
Okay.
you know me, I don't never call play,
Yeah, yeah,
um, or I never like to. And we were down like 17, or like maybe even got to 21, um, but kind of battled back in the fourth. And I think the last few possessions of the game were back to back to back threes by Reed. So there's my streak of threes. We can come back, win the game. It's might have been for like I don't think it was for a district, so maybe it was like a conference tournament type thing or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but
I thought it was.
definitely a
It
streak
had
that
to.
sticks out.
It had to have been districts if you were
Yeah,
playing.
maybe it was a district. It might have been a district. It
It
might have
had
been
to, if you were playing Lawrence. Well,
playing at Hartford or playing against Lawrence. Maybe it was.
uh, but I don't know. Back then, I thought Lawrence was in a different. They were. I thought they were Class D. Maybe not, but
Maybe not that time. Maybe.
anyway,
Who
I
knows? Who
can't
knows? Make the
blame
story
them.
sound better,
Yeah.
Curt. Story sounds
Well,
better.
hey, then you know what? I'm going to go with a streak of my Fenville days too, coaching
Oh,
JV, also
oh,
involving Mr. Reed Sexton.
sure.
Uh, 20 games in a row, we won.
Yeah, you can't beat that. You can't beat that.
His sophomore year, we had a streak of 20 straight wins, and we only played 20 games, so we went
Hey,
20-0. So,
it's a pretty good year.
um, any other ones that popped in your head came across?
How about you remember Chris Dudley,
Yeah,
NBA player?
yeah.
I think he's got the record for most missed free throws consecutively
Oh my gosh.
at like 13,
Holy cow.
which really doesn't sound that bad. But I guess if you're thinking you should be
That's a
able to
lot.
make 50
That's a lot.
if you
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Okay.
that's a
So
lot.
yeah, maybe that is a lot.
Um, well, I was gonna before you brought up your Fenville story, which made me think of my Fenville streak, which I didn't even have on my list here. Um, but speaking of basketball, I was gonna say my junior season, we started out the season with a terrible streak of losing 4 games.
Oh,
Started out 0-4, but then we won 9 in a row, 9 game winning streak. So
nice.
I did have that one on my list.
Good streak there. It's a good streak.
Yeah. I didn't have it on my list because I think it's super obvious, but Joe DiMaggio's 56 game hit streak. Uh,
Definitely. Definitely.
Watching the Pete Rose docuseries on HBO, he had a couple times where he was kind of maybe getting
Well,
kind of close to that,
yeah.
but I don't think that record will ever be broken either.
No, probably not. Yeah. I didn't really like yeah, that was a tough one to come up with a couple
Yeah,
streaks like that.
yeah,
So good one.
yeah.
Good one.
So, but anyway, all right. So that's the favorite three of the week. We went with our favorite streaks, favorite 3 streaks. Again, still looking for sponsors for these segments or these shows we got going on. You can email us at attacktherack3333@gmail.com if you're interested in sponsoring, or if you have any questions you'd want us to talk about on the program for you. Maybe you need some advice. We are more than willing to lend an ear and lend our opinions for you. Maybe you got some comments. Maybe you don't like something we say. Hit us up. Let us know. Fair game, though, that any email we do receive, we will possibly have fair game to read on the program, but we will keep you anonymous if you so choose.
Wow. Wow.
Big Mo, your dog sitting days are almost over here. How has it gone for you? We talked a little bit about your dog Dallas that you've been dog sitting this week. How'd it go?
Yeah, it's I have not had I have you know the last 2 days, 3 days, somewhere in that range. He another coworker took over my duties
Okay.
just to give him a little break. And they have a
Give him a
dog,
break.
so and
Wait,
they have a dog, so it's like a little little companionship.
give him a break or give you a break?
Give him a break, Curt. I'm a tough guy to live with. Um, and so I just got him back this afternoon, and I think his other dog friend has worn him out because this is the first time I've seen him cashed out, just
Really?
out sleeping on the floor. So, um, I don't know if we're at our halftime adjustment yet.
Yeah, we no, we probably are. We're moving along pretty good here. So yeah, we can probably get into our halftime adjustment now if you want. You got
Okay, well, my halftime adjustment is a shout out to any pet owner
okay.
because that is not easy work.
Okay.
And so my halftime adjustment would be I will never have a pet again, personally, because it is a lot of work. Um, and I'm guessing that these pet owners, the pets are like their children,
Yeah,
right? So you're always worried about them,
right.
So I'm always checking, hey, making sure I want him, I want Dallas to have a good time,
Yeah.
And but my halftime adjustment would be shout out to the pet owners. You guys are amazing. I plan to never probably get a dog in my lifetime.
So you're adjusting from your thought of maybe having a dog,
Yes, I
adjusting to
always thought it'd be
okay.
fun to have a pet, and my kids have a couple. Have had pet dogs.
Yeah.
Have some cats. I've heard cats are maybe a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Maybe I got to go that route. But my halftime adjustment, not a pet guy as a pet owner. I love dogs. I love pets. Don't want any hate mail. Don't want any cancel Big Mo. Um, just big shout out to any pet owner, and if you need someone to watch your dog, then you can get a hold of me because that's a short term type thing.
Sure. All right. Well, hey, my halftime adjustment, Big Mo, revolves around the show Hard Knocks, which debuted its 2024 season episode 1 with the Chicago Bears this past Tuesday night. I think it's boring. We wait and we wait. We get so excited. We get so excited for Hard Knocks, Hard Knocks, Hard Knocks. It really makes you feel like football season's finally here. And I thought it was like watching paint dry. And that may be an unpopular opinion. I'm sure Bears fans like it because you get an inside look at your team. But if I'm not a fan of that team, I need some excitement. I need some entertainment. I need the production to spend all kinds of time meeting with the coaches, finding out of the 100, there's got to be 100 players and coaches, at least that start camp. You got to find a handful of entertaining characters and you need to highlight them to suck us in and make us enjoy this program. And I thought their head coach is boring. You mentioned on the daily lineup show, you like the Nick Saban part. I agree because I'm a coach and I like the X's and O's stuff of sports. I thought that was interesting, but it was still kind of bone dry. We need some excitement. We need some fire. So we need to get that production team to adjust and give us some smoke. So that's my adjustment. My halftime adjustment goes
Good
to the
adjustment. I don't know. I think that's hard to do in today's age. I think people are becoming a little more aware of the camera. I think that's it all depends on the character you can find, right?
yeah.
Some of the best hard knocks are because you have a outlandish character, maybe kind of the that player or that coach who just goes above and beyond.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that is a lot tougher to do today than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would like to see the production team, the directors, them get together here and try to right this ship the rest of the way. So that's my adjustment. Hard Knocks production team. Let's get some more energy and some more entertainment involved in the program.
Maybe they're saving it for the second episode, Curt.
Hey, and one thing we talked about too, Big Mo, on the daily lineup show Trent brought up, asking, do they really show the cuts anymore? And I feel like over time they've kind of gotten away from that, which I can understand. I mean, that's a pretty personal, situation. Um, pretty big moment in these guys' lives, being told, hey, your dream is over. Probably not something that is fair to show off to the public, but it is heart wrenching. I know you've been a long time coach. I've been a long time coach. Fortunately for me, about half of my 20-year career was spent as an assistant where I didn't actually have to do the cuts. But I'll tell you what, I've had, the other half of that career, I've had to make cuts. It is awful. It is horrible. I remember being a player and the coach is always saying, during tryouts, talking about how it's the hardest part of their job is to make cuts. And I was just kind of like, whatever. And then when you get in that situation where you're a coach and you got to tell a kid, sorry, you're just not good enough, it's horrible. My very first coaching job, I was 23 years old, coaching seventh grade basketball, had like 40 kids try out, for a team where you can keep 12 to 15. So I'm cutting over 20 kids. I got to sit down, and this is past the old days, like of, you just put a note on the door with the guys that make the team. We had to talk to every single kid, and you had to tell them face to face, sorry, buddy, you just aren't good enough. It's awful. So I don't know. I know you've had, obviously,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't blame them for not showing it. But obviously, on the hard knock side, it makes for great television because an intimate moment in that scenario. I don't think any coach really likes to do it.
oh, I can't
You
imagine.
know, I mean, I guess as you were just talking, I was just thinking about just how many times, you know, I've been cut once,
Yeah.
and obviously it was not a good feeling. Um, and I've been told no for jobs and things like that, and none of that feels good, and none of that would I want exposed or
Yeah.
shown live or replayed on TV.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
So a credit to anybody who has on Hard Knocks who has gone through that and okayed it, because I'm sure there's got to be some type of like, hey, are you okay with showing this? And you think they at least play something of that magnitude and give some choice.
Yeah.
And maybe just yeah. So shout
So,
out to anybody who's gone through that on Hard
yeah.
Knocks because that's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, and again, no coach enjoys that.
Yeah. So let me reiterate. Let me go back to my adjustment to that production team.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you need to include that, even though it is incredibly polarized. Like it sucks you in. It's entertaining, but if you guys don't want to show any of that stuff, I totally understand. So,
thanks
uh,
for thanks for thanks for pointing that out to him.
yeah, I'm sure
Get
they're
him
watching.
off. Get him off the hook.
Hey, let's get into our interview now with Corey
Oh,
Wolters, talking some fantasy football. Again, it's just a quick little interview, talking just some general fantasy football stuff, kind of promoting what we've got going on with him right now. 4-part series previewing fantasy football. Again, yesterday, Friday. Today we're recording on Friday, so today um, we did release the first episode, quarterbacks. On Sunday, running backs will be released next week. Friday, we will release wide receivers, and then we'll wrap it up next Sunday with tight ends. Big Mo, you and myself and Trent yesterday on Thursday on the daily lineup show, we did talk a little fantasy football. You had mentioned you haven't really played the last few years, just a lot of time consuming, or it's very time consuming. And one thing that has become popular over the last few years is this best ball version. So part of this interview, um, I asked Corey about the best ball fantasy football for you because it is a much less time consuming way to still participate in fantasy football. So hopefully he does a good job of explaining that to you, and then you can go from there and say, hey, you know what, I'm in, let's do it, or no, sorry, still out. So before we do get to the interview with Corey, though, I do want to give a shout out to his father, Mr. Wolters. Awesome guy, big Michigan fan. took a little spill yesterday and is recovering from some injuries. So we want to give a shout out to Mr. Wolters. Our thoughts are with you, hoping for and praying for a speedy recovery. And now our interview with Corey Wolters. All right, we now bring in our Attack the Rack fantasy guru, Corey Wolters. He has been a recurring guest on the Attack the Rack YouTube channel, talking some basketball stuff in the past. We have now reached a contract with him, brought him on board to be our fantasy football guru. Very quick and easy negotiations. Corey, you and your agent, phenomenal. Thank you so much. We're going to talk here some fantasy football stuff. I want to know, first of all, you and I have been buddies for a while. We've talked fantasy football for quite a while. I know you typically are in several leagues, it seems like every year. This year, 2024, how many leagues are you in?
Well, first off, Curt, thanks for having me. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to put that information out there. If my wife sees this, she might kill me. Um, but I right now I'm on pace for like between 125 and 135, 140.
Okay, now a lot of those are probably best ball leagues.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm in like 6 redraft leagues, live redrafts.
Wow.
Everything else is like best ball between,
Okay.
Underdog, and a number of different sites.
Okay, so I'm trying to get Big Mo to do some best ball fantasy football this year. He always says, I don't got time for it. I don't got time for it. In my opinion, and I need you to explain a little bit how best ball works a little bit more to Big Mo, but to me that seems like it's right up his alley because there really isn't a ton of time. Am I accurate in saying that?
Yeah, no, best ball is great because you basically draft 18 to 20 rounds and you don't ever have to change your lineup. So if, for example, you draft, a running back and they're in your starting rotation, if a bench player outscores them, they're automatically put in. You don't have to touch or change your lineup at all throughout the year. I guess the downfall is if a player gets hurt, you can't add or trade with other players. But you just that's your lineup and that's how it is the entire year.
Right. So at least, but obviously you don't want anyone to get hurt, especially your better players. But if that does happen, it's
Hmm.
not like you now have all of a sudden have to um, get on the website, get on the waiver wire, try to pick somebody up because automatically it's just gonna insert the next best guy.
Correct. Yep. There's no adding players, dropping players, trading with players, nothing, none of that. That is your team for the whole year, and whatever the best scores are, that's what they put in. If you only draft 2 tight ends and one's on a bye week and the other one's hurt, you don't get any points for the tight end position that week.
Gotcha. All right, so hopefully we can get Big Mo in at least doing one of those leagues. So you got 6 other more traditional leagues, redraft leagues. Is that a typical number for you year in and year out, or are you up a little bit this year? Or down?
I think it's pretty typical. I think I joined. Actually, I did my first dynasty this year, so I joined that one and I joined another one. So I'm maybe up 2, but that's not that far off.
Hey, let me ask you this: are any of them auction style or no?
No, I did a couple of auctions in the past, but all mine are usually just snake.
Okay, so our league went to auction probably about 5 years ago now. I kind of do. I kind of like it. I didn't think I would, but
Yeah, that's
um,
different. It's cool. It's fun.
yeah. So how long have you been playing fantasy football?
10 plus years. No, I mean, it's gotta be way more than that.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
gonna say you probably started in
I'd
college.
say 15, 20 years.
Yeah, yeah. And have you had some success?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I've done well in the redrafts, leagues that I'm in. I've done well in the best ball. I'm no expert don't get me wrong here. Some years are better than others. Some years are really good. I haven't had, and let's knock on wood here, too like big a down years. I've kind of went even in a lot of those. So it's been good. I love this time of year. I love drafting. It's just fun. Yeah, gets me going.
Yeah, the draft is probably one of the most funnest parts of the entire season, the entire process. So obviously we've got you on the podcast today because we are trying to promote the fantasy football preview series we've got with you. Yesterday, we uploaded the first video, quarterbacks. Tomorrow, we're going to upload the running backs, and then probably next Friday, we'll do wide receivers, and then next Sunday, tight ends. So we're keeping it to those four. We're not doing any kickers, defenses, special teams, anything like that. Before we get you out of here, Corey, how about just your typical general kind of philosophy of how you attack the draft and the season?
Well, I think every league's different. So going into your league, you have to know the league rules. And I literally just messed up on this in my first ever dynasty league that I was in. I didn't read the league rules, and apparently we are starting 2 quarterbacks, and I had the number 2 overall pick for dynasty, and I picked a wide receiver. And that was like the dumbest thing I could have done, because in that situation, you start 2 quarterbacks, you have to take a quarterback, especially that high up. And so you have to know your league and your rules first. So that answer kind of varies a little bit. In most of my redrafts, I was really a big running back guy, but I think that's changed and morphed a little bit over the years. And kind of, I try to be more of like a hero running back. And what that is where you get your main stud running back, and then you kind of draft a bunch of wide receivers and other position players. Because based on what I read research wise, running back position is the one that kind of gets hurt most frequently. And then if you draft, high up running backs that get hurt, you don't have those top tier wide receivers, and you also don't have then your top tier running backs. And so your team kind of sometimes goes into shambles.
Sure. No, it makes sense. I mean, yeah, you hit the nail on the head there for sure. You got to know, there's so many different ways that these leagues work. You got to know the rules, because the rules will help dictate how you want to build your roster. So my league, we're 2 quarterback league, and our scoring system heavily favors quarterbacks. So it's not the same now that we do the auction, but when we were doing snake draft, typically 18 of the first 20 picks were always quarterbacks. Now with an auction, it really doesn't matter. You can nominate whenever. So
Right. Yep.
all right, Corey. Well, hey, thanks a lot for joining us. Looking forward to the fantasy football preview that we're doing with you, and we appreciate your time. And good luck in your fantasy football leagues this year.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks again, Corey Wolters, for spending some time with us talking some fantasy football. Again, you're not going to want to miss his, if you're into fantasy football, you are not going to want to miss our 4-part preview for the coming fantasy football season, talking quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. Big Mo, now that you have heard a little bit more about how the fantasy football best ball works, now understanding how very little time it takes, what do you think? You going to get in on some best ball fantasy football, or
well,
no?
first, big thanks to Corey for explaining that so well to me, so I have a better understanding of that all. That is not going to change my mind.
Okay.
Just seems like, even though it's probably less work, it just seems like I just like to enjoy my NFL games. I just want to watch it with no pressure to root
Okay.
for somebody I don't like, root for a team I don't like.
Yep.
So not getting involved in the fantasy world allows me just to dislike some teams and not root for them and hope one team beats them over another. So
Yeah, fair enough.
I will not be participating.
All right, fair enough. But hey, what a winning interview that was. We're wrapping up here now. Another winning episode of the Attack the Rack podcast. That will bring us to our last segment, winner of the week. Big Mo, who you got?
Winner of the week.
Who or what? Or what? Who or what?
Yeah, I'm gonna or what? Yeah, I'm gonna say the Olympics.
Okay.
I have enjoyed tuning in.
All right.
So big shout out to all the athletes participating, every country. Most of them, I don't want to. It's just been fun to watch. I like the competition. I think in those situations, the competition brings out like the best energy in people, and every single event has been like just kind of unique to watch. And sometimes you forget. I mean, obviously, we only see some of these events 4 times or every 4 years.
Mhm.
So, shout out to the Olympics.
All right. I did actually catch the B girls breaking semis and then medal matches.
Right.
Japan took home the gold medal.
Wow.
And again, we are recording this on Friday, so that occurred on Friday. Today, the day this comes out, Saturday, the B-boys will be going at it.
Is there a favorite? Do we know?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah. And what'd you think?
It was pretty good. I mean, it was all, it was good. It was good. I'll leave it at that.
Ooh, okay.
All
Whoa,
right.
whoa!
My winner of the week, and this might be another quite unpopular take. My winner of the week is the new way they do kickoffs in the NFL. It's going to take some getting used to. It looks really funny. It looks and seems and probably is pretty awkward. But here's why I think it's a winning idea, and here's why I like it, and here's why it's my winner of the week. We are going to actually get to see kick returns again. We've gone how long without even seeing a kick return? It just never even happens. Every kick, touchback, touchback, touchback. Now there's an opportunity where we're going to get to see some kick returns, which potentially can be some of the most exciting plays in an NFL football game. So, hey, we're probably going to get blown up in the comments. Maybe you can get some emails about how ridiculous of a take that is. But that's my winner of the week, the new kickoff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What do you think of it?
Can we just start on the 20, the 25?
Okay.
Just, yeah, your kicker is now your field goal kicker.
Yeah.
He won't lose his job. He still gets paid.
Yeah.
No, I hadn't watched enough of it to see if there's, we'll see. This season will be a good tale of how
Sure.
it goes. I would say it hasn't sounded like not to get off the kickoff bandwagon, but how about the Hawkeye technology?
Yeah, I thought that was supposed to be a lot quicker.
Yeah, that didn't seem like that could be a little questionable. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I know it's only a preseason thing right now, I think so.
Yeah, it is. They're just trying it in a handful of preseason games, and
that'll be a controversial take there, Curt. I'm sure you'll get a few comments.
But all right, well, hey, Big Mo, another great episode. We are now ending the program in a new way, and that is, and I'm just going to say it, and then we're going to be done. We are now ending the program each and every week with the Big Mo Motivational Minute.
Hey, good morning, Tech to Rec fans. This is Big Mo's Motivational Minute, inspired by a friend of the show. Finished my workout this morning, walked outside and saw a beautiful sunrise coming up, and wanted to share just a quick moment. Finished my workout, sat in the sauna, took off my headphones, turned off the music, had a chance to share a little conversation with a gentleman in the sauna, and we just shared some of our struggles that we were going through, and how similar they were, yet how different paths and different parts of life we were each at. Take a moment, check on the people closest to you, check on the people not close to you. Make time for that conversation to help each other out. And that gentleman made a difference in my day. Hope I made a little difference in his, and maybe a little difference in yours. Have a great day.